The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are the Bostonian versus the book.
You covered 12. Covered.
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus the book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Wednesday episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. He is Dave Sharapan. I'm Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book. The same on Twitter, X, replay on Sports Grid Television, where Dave made his triumphant return this week after the time off. And we are on Sirius XM channel 159. Dave, one day before the madness officially kicks off and we head to Resorts World for not one, but two live shows. How are you?
2 live shows, yes. Once we get the lay of the land, I was thinking because now I know that there's a charge for sitting at a table and a charge for sitting at a couch. We'll see if we can get it with the guy who's going to make it all happen. We'll see if we can get. I'm going to try to get a comp for a table for 4 for whoever comes and wants to hang out. So we'll see what we can do with that. But that's going to be fun. There's a wall of TVs. There's no smoking. There's food. There's drink. There's good service. March Madness basketball in Vegas. There's nothing like it. I've been asked so many times this week, what is this week really like? It's Linda called it boy band weekend, and it really is. It's dudes.
Are you trying to depress the hell out of me today?
No.
Jesus.
No, I just mentioned
two conversations about people that were here.
Well, yeah. I mean, we talked about Farah before the show too. If you guys missed that before, Matt Farah, he's no longer with us, and he was our first producer. We worked very closely with him, and he passed away. So we're kind of dealing with that. For those of you that watched the show back then, we say sorry, Will, hashtag sorry, Will. You guys used to say hashtag not Farah's fault for different things, and we. You're still trying to compartmentalize that news, but March Madness will hopefully help us. But
so many of the future. I mean, like I wrote last night on X, Twitter, whatever about it. Like I started thinking about all the firsts, like so many of the first things that we did. Farrah was part of, and
without a doubt.
I mean, the first live show he was part of, the first show he was part of.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time driving and going to places and just being, the three of us being together. First going to LA, the first Super Bowl that we went to was together going over to LA and then Phoenix. And you just never know. Like one phone call can change a lot.
Yeah. I mean, you guys drove down to Phoenix to and from together. You guys drove to LA.
We stayed in LA together at the house that we were
all
at.
Stayed together in Phoenix.
Yep.
Ate every meal together. It was crazy. It was just, life is incredible. And you really have to just do your best to make the best of each single day. And, that's just another lesson in life for us. And
reach out to your people though.
You have to
reach out to your people.
You have to. And when you don't, or there's signs like when people reach out, and say stuff, and like I feel like the meetup in Kentucky was awesome. Where's just a lot of people, and you get some quality time, like just hanging out in the lobby or hanging out in the book. You don't have to bet. We don't care about your units. Your unit size. We don't care about any of that. Okay. How many inches, all that. We fight for that inch on the show, but we don't care.
No.
At least I don't think anyone in the brigade really does.
No. I mean, I think it's, I was trying to talk to somebody about this a couple of days ago, my family, when they asked one of my family, they asked me like, what do you do for a living? And I was like, I hadn't talked to them in a while. and I was like, well, I mean, like, I'm a content creator but like I'm part of something that's a little bit hard to explain because post COVID, a lot of men, and we've talked about it a lot of men felt adrift. They felt like they didn't have people to talk to. They didn't have people to communicate or that understood them, or they had interests that no one really in their own world got or appreciated. And I watched the interactions when we're sitting there and we're setting up and like we're doing the show or breaking the show down or whatnot. And I'm just like watching like 3 tables full of people that are from all different parts of the country, that are all different walks of life, that are sitting there communicating with each other with inside jokes that only those people at that table understand what they're talking about. And that to me, I can't explain that to anybody else about because it's about time. Like we talk about the commodity of time so often, about how important time is. And being a parent is so much about just giving your kids the time, whether it be your loved ones, family members, children, whatever. You're giving somebody your most precious commodity when you're spending time with them.
Yep.
And this show's 2 hours. It's long. Like it's not a 2-second thing. It's not a 10-minute pick podcast. Like it's not just like, here are the plays and we're moving on. Like that's not what this show is. So you guys give us your most precious commodity, and then you guys hang out together and you guys share different thoughts and inside jokes. And I don't know, it feels wild to me to be a part of it. It feels a lot bigger than just a show.
Without a doubt. There's no other way to describe it. I don't know. If you can, they're asking in the chat if we have a picture of us with Farah. So
Sure.
if there's a way to put that up.
Yep, hold on.
That I sent you. That was the one because I was going through some stuff, trying to find something for his brother James, who I've become kind of close with. So we will put up a picture here while Matt's looking.
Give me
how to do it.
1 second. Just takes just and we'll put it up here.
The different things that you talk about, like watching everybody interact. I mean, we're riding in cars together to the games.
It's the airport.
We've driven people to the airport. We've picked people up and driven them, from one casino to the other here in town. We all have Sydney's chair to talk about forever from the live show at Circa. And for those of you that don't know, you have to ask somebody in the Discord.
If you don't know, now you know.
BBB.com, because there's stories there. But there's a tremendous picture. That's me, you, Pat McAfee. You guys may have heard of him. And Matt Farah. Yeah. Right there, Matt Farah.
Matt's photo. It's Matt taking the photo.
Yeah, Matt held up the phone and said, "Hey guys, take a picture." And we used that on the on the
a lot of stuff.
The hype video and the stuff that he put together for that trip. So I mean that's him smiling. Pat was, he was hanging out with us for a few minutes after doing the show. That was wild. That was the first Super Bowl in LA.
Yeah.
So, man,
it was fun. Yeah.
That's Joe the Fat Panda. I think he was late 30s.
Yeah.
Getting the
Mid to late
exact information. It was
he was not old.
Wasn't 40.
Yeah. So that's when you lose somebody that young, it's like, whoa, wait a second.
Yep.
So it puts a lot of things into perspective, and it puts us. I think the initial shock of it. I think when you were called and told, and you called me and were like, "Hey, I was driving with my daughter," and you're like, "Take me off speakerphone." I was like, "Okay, why?" I was like, "What's going on?" And then you told me, and I was like, "Oh goodness, okay." You just kind of like, it's the shock, and then it's the day, 2 days, and then like it really hit me, like I mentioned off the air to you, that like SoCal DGen wrote #one final time.
Yep.
Not Farah's fault. And a lot of stuff came back from that first year, and just that. You guys don't know how dramatic those first 18 months were crazy. Like this show was, even when we were with props, there were so many things that were going on behind the scenes. Like we literally were a duck. Like we were trying to show everybody on, the surface that things were going great. And underneath it was just like constant turmoil and constant upheaval. Like
every time we thought we were like stable for like a week,
it was not.
Something else would happen. And we had the lawyer on our.
Oh my!
That was not fun.
We want to do this. No, you can't. Why? Because why not? You guys can't do it. Why not? Because I said so. Well, why?
Yeah.
Like we
Chicago,
don't.
Kristen, I don't know. Things might have been different had you been
Oh,
the lawyer for us.
I would agree. I would agree.
Might have been different. Not that it's. I mean, you have to do whatever you have to do, and I wouldn't trade anything for us.
No,
to get to this
but the
point.
lawyer at the time had her own. She had her own agenda that we weren't aware of.
Yeah,
There are a lot of things that were done in the back, in the back that we didn't know about that were without our knowledge being done.
We got kiboshed pretty good on a lot of things, and then those conversations where I knew like we're done. That's it. Well, I don't know. We're getting to that point now, boys and girls. We're not going to stop doing the show, but we got to figure something out. We got, we're working on things again. The culmination of a lot of phone calls and work and everything is Thursday and Friday this week. Is the live shows. It was last week in Nashville. Can't believe that was last week.
Feels like it was a while ago. Yeah, I agree. It was
like that was last week.
Yeah. And that's how fast things can change. I mean, I think that's one of the lessons I always take away in media, that one phone call can change everything. And so, it feels like it was a long time ago. It wasn't. It was just a couple of days ago that we were in Kentucky hanging out with the brigade and talking and
breakfast downstairs at the Spring Hill Suites, or that night before Tuesday night, a week ago, 24 hour, 7 days ago. I mean, that was a late night for a lot of people. That night down there. That was fun.
This is cool. This is a cool post, Addison.
Addison the Wrench. I'm still to meet a bad brigade member. It's cool how the community has grown, but it still feels like a small group. It definitely feels like a small group. I don't know who that's a testament to.
Well, I've said it before. I feel like we're the band that there's people who are going to say in a bunch of years, like I was there at the beginning, like there will be that quote unquote break that will come at some point in the next whatever, where the guys who are in the chat right now, the people who have supported us and been there and gone to live shows and whatnot. And I mean, I look at, we talked about McAfee and he was just on the screen with us, but like how many shows Pat did before he wound up going to Barstool, and then we'll find, how many before he wound up going to, ESPN. It's all a progression. It's brick by brick. It's, step by step. It's week by week, show by show that you're trying to do and establish value and establish with your audience something that's unique that they're going to see nowhere else, and finding the right person that comes along and believes in it and says, okay, there's a brush fire here. I'm dumping, a gallon of kerosene on this thing. Let's see what happens. Let's blow it up.
We'll see.
So that's the idea, right?
Stories we've been told and different things is just fascinating.
But it's all about the content, right? And as the content space shrinks and as more and more people are stuck because they've been working for somebody, and by working for somebody, you don't control what you are doing, and you're told what you're going to do. And either you get reassigned or laid off or just outright fired because the company either can't afford you or doesn't want to afford you anymore, and makes a pretty catastrophic strike to your career. We have been fortunate enough that we said, okay, we'll walk through that desert hoping that we find the oasis once or twice to keep ourselves hydrated enough to keep going to the next desert.
Woo!
And that's that's
hot in that desert sometimes.
and that's what we've been doing, and we were fortunate that like people step up to support the show, and Circa did that to support the show, and Resorts World's done that to support the show. But it's not like the show is, sending you and me to these like, incredible places where we're just kicking up our heels going like, oh, we made it. This is great. Like, that's not what this is. I mean, we're still struggling every day to make this and justify the time and justify the people in our lives that are asking us, well, how much time do you guys spend talking, doing this show? And you're making how much money on this show? Like, wait a minute. Couldn't you be doing something else? Yeah. Sure. Do we want to? No. We don't want to be doing anything else. So having this chance and having, we're gamblers and we're gambling on ourselves, and we're saying that, nobody can do this better than we can. So we're going to do it. And what does that look like in 5 years, 3 years, 1 year? Who knows? We don't know. But that's where I think
I don't even know what it looked like in May.
Right. So like, it's fair. So in April's next. So like, there's a lot of things that come around, and like, we've called it before. We're about to go into the nuclear winter of sports and sports betting. Once you get past June, you get into July, August until football season. There's nothing there. It's a barren wasteland. And so we've been fortunate enough to find those people that see the world that we see the world, but those people are dropping by. I mean, that they're not being supported enough right now to even keep their own businesses going. So the business is changing. The media business is changing. And so there's a lot of things, a lot of uncertainty that goes into shows like ours, but other shows in general as to what the content space will look like in a couple of years. So, hopefully it looks like stuff that we do. So yeah, Pitbull, it was great meeting you, man. It really was great to meet you. It was cool to see you on the show. It was good to meet you.
Pitbull 59, Lynn is his name. It was great meeting you guys. You guys make yourselves available. By doing so, creates relationships possible. You guys share your time with people who care about you and the brigade. Sorry for the loss of your colleague.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. It was great meeting you. I mean, this guy walked in with a fan, ready to go, hung out, took pictures, came on the show, did his thing. It was great.
It was good to meet him. It was great to meet him. It was fun to see. I mean, it was good to see for me, somebody who had been in the South for 5 years, going back into the South, like I said it before, but I had so many flashbacks. I had so many cool moments where I just remembered something, or remembered a trip to Zaxby's, or remembered a trip to Buc-ee's, or I remembered a trip to a road game and to a Bama football game, or something in the SEC, or it's a really special part of the country that I feel very blessed that I got a chance to spend some really formidable years down. And for us to go there, I can't wait to go back. I think it would be a great time to go either further south, that's the mid South. Well, let's go to the deep South. Let's go to Atlanta. Let's go to Birmingham. Let's go to Florida. Let's go to places where we can, get down in that part of the country and really have a good time and showcase these other parts of the country to those of us who are on the West Coast, or, I hope we do an East Coast show. Everyone keeps on asking, why aren't we doing East Coast shows? You guys are called the Boston versus the Book. Dave's in Pittsburgh. How have you not gone to Pittsburgh or Boston yet? Yes, we understand. We're efforting to make that happen. I would love baseball season. Let's go to a Skeens start. We saw Skeens in Chicago. Let's go to Skeens in Pittsburgh. I mean, absolutely. It would be great to go see a Pirate game, or go see a Penguins game if they make the playoffs, or whatever. The Bruins aren't making the playoffs, but something along those lines. So we're open for everything. And there's all people, look, Chicago, John, let's get back to Chicago. You guys, we told you in Nashville, let's set it up. Let's set it up. Yeah. And yes, come to Pittsburgh with us, Corbin. By the way, are you off today? I'm guessing you're off today. I was going to come see you today, but I guess I got to see you tomorrow at some point. Well, I guess tomorrow might be tough to do. You're in the chat. I'm guessing you're not at work.
Yeah. No, he's probably at work. He's been putting us on at work. So
if you're at work, let me know. I'll come down when the show's over. I'm going to come see you because I got to go kill 2 hours. So I need to come down. I want to go and get a Creighton Blue Jay. Someone asked me, why don't you have a Creighton Blue Jay BVB hat? And I was like, it's a really good idea. It's a really good point. How do I not have a Creighton Blue Jay BVB hat?
Yeah, he can. That color, maybe. I mean, you'll be able to figure it out.
No, you just do a white. I can just do a white hat with a blue B.
Right,
because
we got to match that Creighton Blue Jay though.
On the B string.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be hard on the actual stitching. No,
I don't think so.
I mean, hat color would be hard.
Yeah. No. You either get a black hat or a white hat. You just
white hat,
and then get the B's. The Creighton colors. That's
so we'll do. I want to do that for tomorrow.
Yeah,
to have a Creighton Blue Jay BVB hat as they go and take on Louisville and have a good time with all of that. All right, let's roll because there's a lot of fun things to get to. Remember, live show at Resorts World Thursday and Friday inside of Red Tail Lounge. Start time is 12 noon Pacific. Okay,
fingers crossed. Everything is fine when we get down there and get set up. You guys saw the setup. We pretty much narrowed it down to a science. We just have to make sure the power and the plugs are all right.
I think we're good. I think we're good. It's our
going to be fine.
Show number 5 from Red Tail.
Yeah,
it's by far.
No, we did. We did 2 last year in March and 2 this year in January. So this is
show number 5. So 5 and 6. So this is by far the place we've been at the most. Been at Circa a bunch, but I think this is even.
This is number 7 because we did 2 in the sports book for Super Bowl.
Right.
We were in the book, and then
Right,
we
right,
went over
right,
to
right,
March
right, right, right.
Madness. So we did Super Bowl shows, and then March
Wow, 7 and 8.
Madness. Yeah.
So we've
So
been
we've
down
done
there a
6 there,
bunch.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun to see how we do that. So that's coming up tomorrow and on Friday from noon until 1:30 local time for us at Resorts World inside of Red Tail Lounge. It's a really great place to watch basketball. It's a really good place to watch games and sporting events in general. So 12 until 1:30 local time, Thursday, Friday for us at Resorts World. Come and check us out for BVB. Hope to see you all there coming up for tomorrow. All right. Let's talk about what happened last night. This is normally not a topic we would start with, but I thought it could be kind of cool just to say thank you, or not thank you, but congrats to UNLV hockey. They won their first ever national championship last night in hockey, which is like, huh? How did that happen? But sorry, that's the wrong one. I have it somewhere here. But did you know this? Because I think you posted it, right? That they won the national championship.
Yeah. This is so, there's Division 1, there's some Division 2, there might be some Division 3, and then there's club.
Right.
And they just started the program not that long ago. My cousin, his name's Stu, is the coach of Pitt club hockey.
Oh, really?
And he's the Pitt has been very competitive, but has been unable to just close the deal at the national tournament. And him and I were talking last summer about UNLV, and he goes, "Man, they built that program so quick." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. I went to at least 10 games last year with Kelsey up at the City National Arena." So for them, and you saw it from the content point of view.
Because my student is the head of the social media for them.
Right.
My former student at UNLV runs the socials for them. And I've been following it, and I wouldn't have known it otherwise because I follow all of her accounts because she runs it. So I like to, keep track on as what she's doing.
Yeah.
I saw this last night. I was like, what the heck? They won the national championship. Like, oh my God.
It's unbelievable. And so and it's good hockey. I mean, it was good hockey when I played it years ago. I mean, this is the level of hockey that I was playing at. And, my brothers and we all played and everything. So for a school like UNLV to win this, I mean, they beat the University of Denver in a game, which is the Division 1. It was the number 1 team in the country at the time. And then to go close this deal, that's a huge hat tip right there. That's a big deal.
What do you think the future, because they are only funded by the support of the community.
Yes.
Like there's not a lot of money that's sitting there.
Yeah.
Winning the national championship, does that change things in your mind? Does that make the university pay attention and say, hey, we might need to do something here and potentially join maybe not a Division 1, maybe D2, or even D1 hockey? I mean, the Golden Knights have changed this market so dramatically. They play their home games where the Golden Knights practice.
Yeah. I would like to say yes. And I would hope that somebody would notice, but it won't change anything. You're literally on your own. You bootstrap everything. When you
sounds familiar.
We're living the club life right now. The BVB is we might as well be in the ACHA. You fund everything. I mean, we drove ourselves to games. You know, back then, you got to hustle for the money, for the uniforms. Everything is sponsored, donated, or paid for by yourself. Vegas is a hockey town now. It's pretty good.
100%.
It really is. Town. There's a whole you understand because your kid played hockey and stuff, and you guys have lived it. You in Chicago, John, following the kids and playing and stuff. There's a culture here. It starts at the rink, and it started with when the Knights showed up and kind of spread out a little bit. They've built that practice facility. There's nonstop. I mean, your daughter's figure skating.
Yep.
At the other rink.
And that
used
rink
to be one rink. When I first moved here, there were 2 sheets of ice.
Yep.
2. And then, now there's Henderson and they built a bunch.
3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 now.
Yeah.
If you include T-Mobile, there's 8. But that's not really a sheet of ice you can play on, but there's 8. There's 8. So And technically, like some of the MGM properties have a chance they can put ice down if they need to as well. So they have so you can have even more, but that's more on the strip. But like for the locals, if you will, ice time is the most difficult thing to find. It's the most expensive and the most difficult thing to find. But we're seeing more and more people come from the Northeast and from the North and from Chicago and from parts where they love hockey. The youth program here in Vegas, that's probably been the most surprising to me because we haven't seen Phoenix level success yet. But Austin Matthews came from that same process in Phoenix when the Coyotes went there. Incredible. And they built up all the youth program, and then they produced a number 1 pick overall and a guy who was an absolute, the best American player in the world at the moment. So you've got, I think, that potential here in Vegas for there's some kid skating who's 8 years old here in Vegas who's going to turn into a professional hockey player who's going to be a top 5 pick that will go on to great things. We're putting too much money into the sport right now in Nevada and Las Vegas to not produce some high quality talent very, very soon.
Maybe. I mean, and there's good, there's good tournaments. Like, kids will come here from LA and Phoenix and Utah or come down, and a lot of kids go up to Utah and play. Lalonde's just said it there. Congrats to those kids. Takes a tremendous amount of commitment to play club hockey, pay your own way, bad practice times, midnight games, etc. All the above. All the above happened there. I moved to Phoenix after Curacao, and the Coyotes showed up from Winnipeg. The place blew up. I mean, but the hockey culture started. We were all playing roller hockey because the ice was the one sheet of ice that we could have played at was really far away. Nobody wanted to drive across town to play at midnight. So it started then. And like Steve Bartell, the cigar guy, Mullen Lobby, he lived there. Boston guy, got his kids playing hockey young. They ended up playing, one of them played in college. And they grew up in Phoenix and playing. You mentioned Austin Matthews.
Yep.
The problem, well, the good thing that happened here was that the Knights won.
Fast.
Didn't quite happen that way in Phoenix. And that team is now in Utah, who got smoked last night, if you want to talk about what happened.
Told you.
Night. Smoked.
Only 2 games today. I can't bet it. I'm annoyed. I'd hit back-to-back 2-leg money line parlays in the NHL. I want to go bet a third. But
I saw that this morning, and I said, "Oh, he's going to force a play."
No. I'm not that.
The Colorado-Toronto game's a pick 'em. I mean, that's a tough game.
No, I'll do it tomorrow. But I was looking for it. I wanted to keep going today, but then I was like, no, there's basketball tonight. I'm good. I can wait till Thursday. The card on Thursday is always already getting heavy. So let's just take it easy today, go light, and then we'll load up tomorrow and have some fun on Thursday. Did you get up today? Dodgers win 6-3. Ohtani goes deep. Dodgers sweep the series. They're 2-0 on the run line already. Sorry, books. Game goes over. Were you awake at all for this one?
The entire game.
Really?
I woke up with a rumble because, and I'm not blaming this, but I had Pizza Hut last night for the first time in, I don't know, a decade.
Okay.
That's what the kid wanted. She's on spring break.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, I'll eat some of it. But I woke up and said, wow, something's not right. And it was at the perfect time.
It's the worst.
So, I just multiple trips to the restroom in between them scoring all those runs early. And me being the person that I am, alone, quiet, in the dark, watching baseball. Early runs meant the total moved up. So I got under 10.5. I got under 9.5.
Going on that.
I got under 11.5. And then because I liked the under 8 before the game and thought, okay. And in the middle innings, they took turns scoring. I made a bet last night on that game that I never made before in my life.
What?
Result of the inning.
Okay.
One team has a money line, the other team has a money line, and then there's a tie.
Yep. Three-way market. Yep.
Yeah. So I bet the tie, thinking that this inning would end up 0-0 after it was 2-0. The third inning. Dodgers scored in the top half of the inning. I'm like, I'm dead. And what you know, Sasaki walks the bases loaded. And the Cubs score in the bottom. They tied 1-1, and I won the bet. So I was like, "Oh, this is my night. Here we go." Now I'm pot committed for the whole game, like an idiot. Stayed awake for the entire game. Now it's spring break, so she didn't have to get up for school. But I didn't hear nobody this morning when just left for work. Out. Went to sleep immediately upon the game ending. It was fun, man. It was fun, but the Dodgers are good. It's ridiculous. The Dodgers
1.5 run line to the Dodgers. What are we seeing for prices? They're 2-0 already on this.
I can't imagine what they're going to be against a really bad team.
400?
Around the regular. On the regular. Do you have the Ohtani watch stinger handy? Do you have that?
Of course.
Yeah, we always have to hit that for the boys. Actually,
we need to kind of correct it because it still looks like it was for the first year when he left the Angels.
Listen, we got a guy who can fix it. He's busy. He's doing these overlays. We got some great things planned for tomorrow. Friday.
We need like an all-star thing on his hat.
We just need a picture of him completely in the Dodger stuff. That's all.
Yeah,
because he's
no
never
Angels.
going back to the Angels.
I saw the funniest thing this morning. The first thing I saw this morning was a comedian doing a bit about how stupid the LA Angels name is because it's the Los Angeles Angels. Los Angeles is the Angels. So the translation is the Angels. And he's like, we ask people in California who speak Spanish, who are the primary base of that team to go ahead and draw from, that they're being asked to call a team name the Angels. Like only in this country where we actually have that. And then for a long time before they changed it, it was the Angels of Anaheim.
Right. Yeah, that was another one.
I was like, that's a really good point.
Trying to find out who they are for years, and now he's never going back. The Dodgers may never lose a game. I mean, I don't know. Their pitching is so deep. Sasaki was pumped up. He was overthrowing, and started and they take out an interpreter. When they go to the mound, they have to bring an interpreter. So that was different. But 3 innings for him. Steele lasted 4. It was a bullpen game after that, and the bullpens came in and shut it down.
Would you price this at 300 to 1?
Made a bet on FanDuel last night that Baltimore gets a base hit in every game.
So you're basically betting a no on a no-hitter. Why is that 300 to 1?
Jimmy, you're going to have to explain that exact stipulation.
Because that seems to be really high from a price perspective.
Yeah. I mean, does every team get no hit?
Not every team, but
that's pretty good odds.
What's the other side?
Why would Baltimore get no hit?
What's the other side on the yes for a no-hitter? Like Baltimore will get no hit this year. Yes. What's the price? It's got to be really guaranteed it's going to happen. For 300 to 1?
Yeah, I don't know. I have to check that. It's interesting. I mean, it's a crazy bet.
Yeah, that doesn't.
I see.
I agree. That doesn't sound right. I'm with JC.
Yeah, we might have to brigade bomb that bet.
That. That seems to be
we don't have FanDuel here, but I'm already thinking
Boyd.
Yeah, they're not always available. But
we got some FanDuel. Arizona. I'd make a drive for that bet. I'd drive over the bridge.
I'm thinking about the same thing.
That's 300 to 1. It's 300 to 1.
Yeah,
what's the max bet you could get down on that? $100? What's
30,000?
If it's true, it won't be 300 to 1 for long. Right, you're right.
Yeah, that's the check on that, boys. If you got that in your state right now,
that's a hard team to no hit, man. So that's why I like it.
I see Leg Show Magazine. Hello, Glue Sniffers. He always comes in and says that. I appreciate that. He said, I have an NBA cash cow to share with the chat. Lakers 12-2-1 first quarter money line since the All-Star break.
With or without
Big-
LeBron, doesn't matter.
Big game tonight. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I mean, they're small favorites. I mean, wow, that game's flipped. It's 2. Denver 2 at LA.
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
bet them in the first quarter that they're winning the first quarter. You're getting plus money.
Oh, Sam. It's not hits. It's runs.
Sam Licata.
That's
It's for
why.
Baltimore to score 1 run every game.
That's a much different bet.
Yeah, they're going to get shut out.
That is a much different.
You should add another 0 today.
Yes. That is a completely.
Although, do you
different
know how many
play.
times? I think the Dodgers. Do you know how many times the Dodgers got shut out last year? 162. How many games do you think they got shut out?
2?
4.
Okay. It's hard to shut that team out.
4.
Yeah. In that ballpark, too. Tough place to shut them out in that ballpark. A lot of room to hit singles and doubles. Just score a run.
I guess.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. That makes way more sense for runs, not hits. I was going to say, we were all about to load up on that. Let's put the tin hat conspiracy theory hat on for 1 second. So we told you that Darren Devries was going to become the new head coach of Indiana. We talked about that at the end of the show yesterday. That has happened officially. He is the new head coach of Indiana after 1 year at West Virginia.
Yeah.
However, the internet's undefeated when it comes to grabbing a hold of a thread and then pulling that thread and then doing a pretty good job of coming up with a conspiracy that may or may not be true. And I'll be very curious to see how this winds up going. But there are people that are claiming that Indiana had a deal with Darren Devries dating back to November of last year, that D-Rock was in the battle for Atlantis with West Virginia, with Indiana, and there was a conversation that happened there. Mike Woodson announced he was retiring. 3 days later, Tucker DeVries announced he was out for the year with a shoulder injury after playing 8 games, which is the maximum you can play to keep a year of eligibility intact in college basketball. There are some that believe that this West Virginia believes.
It's a hell of a coincidence.
Some people in West Virginia are really mad today. They believe that Indiana essentially poached their coach, and they made this offer a long time ago because Mike Woodson had gone to them and said, hey, this is going to be my last year. So the team was well aware that Mike Woodson was going to walk away after this season. So they were looking for a new head coach, and they wanted to bring him. They think Darren DeVries is the guy that can restore order at Indiana and bring them back to the top of the basketball world. And they said, hey, don't have Tucker burn a red shirt or a year, red shirt him right now, sit him out, and you guys can wind up playing. And then there are some that are claiming that the committee knew this, and that's why the committee kept West Virginia out.
Wowza. I think it was that many tentacles. It was that there's that many layers to the story.
I can believe it. I mean, I don't think it's right. I don't buy it, but I can believe it. I don't think it's completely far-fetched because these guys all run in the same world. I just feel bad for West Virginia because if they got taken like this stinks. Like, this is really a bummer for them because they started the year like gangbusters. We had Behow on the show.
Yeah.
Darren DeVries won that mid-season of the year coaching award.
Yeah.
Like, West Virginia was really good all the way up to some point about halfway into the season, and everything fell apart. So what fell apart? Did the kids find out? Did it leak out that D-Rock was leaving? Did Tucker tell somebody that I'm going to Indiana? Was he doing pillow talk with some girl and some girl found out about it and then the girl went and told everybody? Like, how did it leak out that this became a reality? That, hey, we're not going to be here long anyway because we're going to Indiana. So, and look, I mean, Covey, I agree. It's not that far-fetched.
Jeez. I don't know. That's one of those things that, like, when you start to piece together all that stuff and trace the steps backwards, you go, wow, when did they know this? When did that happen? I don't know.
The 3 days after Mike Woodson announced his retirement is the one that kind of goes, hold on a second. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, who's that on? I mean, that's if you're if you're a school like Indiana, you have to have a plan, a backup plan. I mean, you can't talk to people. I mean, that goes on all the time. I don't know who that is on, but I know that as the kids, I mean, it is a business.
Yeah,
it is a business. We had Ollie on yesterday. It's a business. I mean, and you're constantly coaching your team, reading texts from guys, texting your guys, going, listen, what do you make there? 75? We can get you 100 here. Come here next year. Like, while you're playing, they're leaving for Seattle today. There's probably somebody on that team who got a text message, especially if they win on, did they play Thursday or Friday? Colorado State plays Friday.
These guys are,
Indiana
baby. Guys are excited.
Indiana guys are excited. Look at Dave's Daily Picks. All I know is IU is back.
What is this Brendan Barber? Who comes from Indiana to win Indiana from West Virginia other than Tucker? Well, I mean, I don't know if it really matters. I mean, in terms of off that roster, everyone's going to leave, but Indiana's got tremendous amounts of NIL. But this is why Iowa was never even in the conversation. Like, just people I was texting with back and forth last night about Iowa and all the problems that they have. Their NIL situation is a complete and total mess. But for people I talked to yesterday, they were never even talking to Iowa. Like, Iowa wasn't even an option, which is kind of why the Indiana conspiracy theory is starting to catch fire. Because if you weren't talking to Iowa, why not? Like, what? That's home. That's a dream. Like, you didn't know they were going to fire Fran McCaffrey, but they were never even in the conversation. They were never going to Iowa. They were never even looking at Iowa. So, like, Iowa fires Fran. D-Rock's like, I don't care. I'm going to the most, 5 most historic brands in all of college basketball. UCLA, Kentucky. Take your pick on the East Coast schools as to which one you want to grab a hold of. North Carolina, Duke, Indiana. Like, that's what you're talking about from a brand. Like, this is a brand. You are the head coach of, no offense, Iowa. You're not Indiana. So even though most people my age have to think long and hard about the 90s and the 80s as to where Indiana basketball was, there's plenty of blue hairs that remember Indiana basketball dominating the landscape. And if all it takes is money, Indiana's got plenty of that. They got plenty of money.
By the way, how many teams made the college football playoff? 12.
Yeah. Indiana
one was Indiana.
Yeah, right.
So, and they brought a guy in from, Signetti came from James Madison, I believe.
JMU,
he was coaching before, right?
Yep.
And a guy with Western Pennsylvania ties. Darren doesn't have Western Pennsylvania ties. He has Iowa ties, but Midwest, whatever.
Yeah.
You get somebody in there that can sell the program and you have the money to back it behind you, it might not take long.
But Joe, he may not even have had a conversation with Iowa. By all reports, he never was talking. So it doesn't matter how bad the NIL situation
is. If Indiana's on line 1,
right,
you never pick up line 2 if it's even there.
Right, I agree.
It stays on hold until they hang up.
I actually really thought, though, I didn't think Indiana was real. I thought Indiana was a leverage play to get more money out of West Virginia. I was surprised when it went from he is a leading contender to be the next head coach of Indiana, and then 1 hour later it was he's hired.
He's the coach
of Indiana. Like, it wasn't like this was done. This was done a while ago. Like, this was,
yeah.
And so the secret meeting is what everyone's referencing, right? Because in the Bahamas, there was allegedly, a secret meeting between the brass of Indiana and Darren Devries.
Oh,
did that happen? If that happened, and you can prove that happened, West Virginia can go after D-Rock for his signing bonus and go and sue him. Like, there could be litigation to be if you can ever prove that happened. I doubt Darren will be dumb enough to do it himself, but maybe. I mean, we saw Tom Brady have a meeting with the Dolphins owner on his boat, so we saw Tom Brady be dumb enough to go and do that. So it's possible that D-Rock himself could have been representing his own interests in a meeting. More than likely his agent or somebody connected to him would have gone and sat down with Indiana. You don't need to have that face-to-face meeting, but if you're thinking about leaving a job you just took, maybe you need to have some personal assurances, some face-to-face time with your bosses and say, hey, I'm going to pick my family up again and move, back to the Midwest. What are you guys giving me? Am I getting a good contract? Am I getting guarantees? Am I getting NAL money? Like, what am I doing here? So,
Brandon, thanks for watching the show, by the way. Brandon Barber. He will be an Indiana hero if he even remotely turns it around.
100%.
You're won't take long. Yeah.
You're
bring Indiana basketball back to remotely close to what it was, when Bobby Knight was doing it. And
I mean, the bar is pretty damn low.
Final Four and just make the tournament.
Yes.
Next year, you got to make the tournament, compete in the Big Ten. And I don't know. They'll come back in droves. I mean, you saw what happened. Indiana became a thing. And with Pat and the boys being Indiana right there, the media stuff will just go. If they bring back the basketball, my goodness.
How do you think Pat feels about this, though? He's a part of the collective for West Virginia.
Well, he's probably not happy with this.
So I'm like, is he going to go and support D-Rock? Is he going to be a Hoosier and doing his show from Assembly Hall?
No.
Probably not, right?
No,
I mean,
I would
that's
think
an interesting.
I would think no.
First thing I thought, I was like, ooh, that's going to put Pat in a kind of an interesting spot.
Yeah.
Like, he's got ties to both. But maybe we could wind up going to Bloomington. I've never been to Bloomington. I've never been to an Indiana sporting event. So I think it would be super fun to go.
Yeah.
And check out, when Tucker plays, because he's bringing a really good player. Like, he's bringing his son. His son can ball. Like, it's going to be fun to watch. And there's a lot of excitement. I've seen more hype from Indiana fans. I have not talked to Pharrell yet, so I want to hear how Scotty feels, because he wanted Cronin. He didn't want Devries.
Right.
But I think most Indiana people should be happy. You got a really good coach.
Yeah. Well, again, I like to talk about the games more than anything and numbers and things like that. This was an interesting story. Happened fast. And usually when things happen fast, even like we were talking about the Elf show and the fights and everything, something had to be done before then. If it wasn't, man, that was really efficient. It was really efficient job to just get this guy and shut it down and
locked up,
show up in Indiana.
Yeah, I tend to. There is something to the conspiracy theory. How much of it's true, I don't know, but I think there is something. There is enough smoke there that makes me think that not a full blown forest fire. I don't think there's like a full blown 8-month conspiracy going on to screw over West Virginia.
Right.
But I do think West Virginia got screwed over. I think they unfortunately got it pretty bad here with this. Talking about the games, Bubba was happy last night. UNC's athletic director got a chance to kick up his heels and say, told you. Carolina goes into the dance with everybody cheering against them, and they kicked the living daylights out of San Diego State last night. That was pretty impressive.
It was good. I wore all the Carolina stuff. I was going to wear it today. I might wear it on Friday when they play because they're favored in the next game against Ole Miss. I can't even argue with the line. I said it would be picked. Wetzel asked me what I thought it should be. I said, pick them, but don't be surprised if this continues that North Carolina is going to be favored. And
I got minus 120 money line last night. Yeah. I took it at open. I have Carolina going to the Sweet 16. So like I liked them. I liked them to win last night. I didn't think they'd cover, but I liked them to win last night in a low scoring, tight game. Wasn't low scoring, wasn't tight.
You have them beating, if you have them going to the Sweet 16, you have them beating Ole Miss and Iowa State.
Yep.
Okay.
Iowa State's really banged up.
Yeah.
Like really banged up. And so to make up for my 1 unit play on 20-1 for Iowa State to win it all, I'm going to ride Carolina.
North Carolina, right.
And let's just ride them to the Sweet 16.
I made one bet on the game. I had North Carolina -4.
Nice.
And
got there easy.
Then I was waiting to take San Diego State. Wetzel asked me, is it time now? And it was 16.5. I said, no. They were so overwhelmed at the beginning, and then they kept shooting long distance shots and it made it worse. And I'm like, I don't even think 20 is going to be enough. He's like, really? And I said, yeah, I think I'm good. It's one bet. And a lot of times I love to, try to get the middle and do all that other stuff. The total went over.
Just take the win.
Fine. It was it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was just it was it. It was the other bet I had was over 141.5, I think it was, pregame. Because I did the over and I thought, all right, maybe I'll take a shot on the under. And because San Diego State was getting so blown out, the total moved like 4 points from until it really got going late when it went into 150s. But I don't know. A lot of people, Bubba's happy. A lot of people are happy. North Carolina fans are happy.
I mean, it
Ole
runs
Miss
true.
can't be happy.
No, it runs true. If you look at Carolina in every game since the middle of February, Carolina has beaten everyone they have faced badly except for Duke. It's the only team that has beaten them. They faced them twice and they lost twice. There's no shame in that. It's your arch rival, so it hurts. But Duke could be the best team in the country. You make a very strong case for Duke being historically good with Cooper Flag. So it's not a stunning. It's not stunning that Carolina beat San Diego State. It is stunning to me that San Diego State gave up 49 points in the first half to Carolina. Like that is very much not on brand for the Aztec defense to give up 49 points in the first half to anybody.
Yeah.
So they're playing at that level. And I think when you go play basketball in North Carolina and you're an RJ Davis level player in college, which is you were a very good college basketball player, you hear it. That chirping, that becomes something that galvanizes the locker room. It's us against the world.
Right.
And they came out last night and they shut everyone up. Like we're not talking, guys. We're here to take over. And VCU, UCLA, we've seen teams go from the first four to the final four. Not saying Carolina's going to go there, but I do think they're going to win multiple games in this bracket.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, Lesman. I think anyone in the field of 64 could have beat that San Diego State effort last night, but North Carolina's defense has looked better. They made a bunch of threes yesterday, though. They made a bunch of
Mountain
threes.
West
And
haters.
Josie Myers, you're right. I mean, more fuel for the Mountain West haters.
Yeah,
It's
they
all
need
there.
CSU. If Colorado State loses to Memphis,
Yeah.
those are your two best teams that jump out one and done. Not good for the Mountain West.
Again, they're 2.5-point favorites. I don't know how many points they're supposed to win by, but I mean they were only 4.5-point dogs last night, and they lost by what felt
100.
like 100.
Yeah, it was 100. Might as well be 100. They got
Yeah.
destroyed. In the first game, though, we had the first miracle play of March Madness. Why don't more teams do that? I thought Jalen Rose. I thought Jalen Rose made a really interesting point.
Hold on, you're frozen. Mirror images of each other like the Spider-Man meme. There
We
we go.
good?
All right, you're back. Yep.
So if you throw the ball to the foul line, opposite foul line, and you throw it up for grabs, it's essentially a Hail Mary. Now, where
Right.
the ball goes, you don't really know where the ball is going to go,
No.
but the referees are not going to call a foul. No referee is going to call a foul with 3 seconds left.
In a tie game. No.
Why don't more teams do that? I thought that was a really interesting point that Rose made on the broadcast, saying, I don't understand why more teams don't do this. No referee has the courage to call a loose ball foul with the game tied.
Right.
You're throwing a Hail Mary. It's a great idea. Now the ball's going to bounce your way. It did for Alabama State. Went right to one of their guards, laid it in, game-winning bucket, and they win.
Impossible how that just kicked right over to that kid who was standing next to the basket who could put it up with a layup. That was, man, Covey, you're right. Those boys from St. Francis, man, I felt that for them. We all did. But Alabama State's in. They got the win.
I like that play. I think more teams should do that play. Put the pressure on the referees. Just go and manhandle somebody. Like the ball's up in the air, kill somebody. Like it's a scrum. Ball could bounce to one of your guys. You got a big dude that can clear out a couple of guys. I love that play. It's the reverse Leitner because you're always trying to pass it to your own guy and either call timeout or spin and pass it or shoot it.
Yeah.
Throw it up and see if you can get a ball that bounces the right way, which is exactly what happened. Now you got to get someone who can throw the ball there, but I love that play call. That was an unbelievable play call. That was really
throw it down there. I mean, one, you have to have somebody to throw it that far, make
right.
that pass. Not all basketball players can just chuck the ball over him like that. So,
Right.
with any sort of accuracy, you got to throw it in the middle of the free throw line, let everybody jump for
Go
it
crazy.
like a
Football play.
almost a jump ball.
Yeah, it's football.
There it is. Rincon, it's a jump ball play. It's you get the win and don't cover. So the dog covers, favorite wins.
I was on Francis, so I loved
Right.
it. I was like, no overtime, no
Everybody's
overtime,
happy
no overtime.
there, yeah. And then they go and they're 30-point dogs against
Of course. Alabama State, in-state. You
Right.
don't think Auburn's going to kick the tail of that team? Auburn's going to kill that team on purpose. That's an in-state team. That's the worst. They wanted St. Francis to be there for a little more of a competitive team. You did not want a team out of the SWAC in Alabama to play Auburn.
No.
That's recruiting. That's state. I mean, there's a lot of friends going back and forth. Bad.
Yeah.
That could be a 50-point game.
Where is Alabama State?
It's in Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh, okay. All
It's
right.
the capital.
Okay.
So it's about an hour from Auburn.
We used to joke when we went to, tournaments with the kids, we would play a team from Henderson, like in California.
Oh,
Can
right.
you imagine that they're playing? Let's see, where's Auburn playing?
I don't know. Good question. Seattle.
Auburn
No.
Lexington,
Lexington.
Kentucky. Okay, so
Which
it's
is pretty
not that
good.
far of a trip, but
Pretty
they're
good.
playing. They're an hour apart in the state of Alabama, and they're playing in the first round of the NCAA tournament in Lexington, Kentucky.
Guys, yes. Dave knows that Alabama State is in Alabama. Yes. But I'm bummed. Yes, he knows.
City.
He knows. He wanted to know where exactly it was. He
The
knew.
city. Come on, Joe.
Everybody, come on.
Alabama, Dave. Yes.
Everyone knows
Madison.
Alabama State is in Alabama. Yes, we know that. Where in Alabama he was
Even though-
asking
Yeah.
for a
Where
specific.
in Alabama?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, we're going to help you guys with your bracket here. If you haven't filled one out, there are some Yahoo Sports has come up with some pretty cool things as to what may happen in the tournament based on what has happened historically. Did you know, Dave, that no team west of Texas has won the national championship since 1997?
Wow.
Baylor is the most Western school. The top 16, only 2 of the top 16 seeds in this tournament are west of Waco, Texas. Texas Tech and Arizona are those 2 teams that are west of
So we
Baylor.
cross them off the list.
They're gone. Yep. Texas Tech, Arizona.
Bye-bye.
Is that just because most of the colleges in America are concentrated east of the Mississippi, or is there more to that?
I mean, there was a time that UCLA used to win these things
Right.
all the time back in the
Right.
day. But we've seen the Zags get close. I'm trying to think of the schools out west that would even have been in the Final Four. Didn't Oregon make a Final Four?
I mean,
Not that long
Arizona
ago?
won a national championship.
Arizona did in the past too. Those
Your
couple schools
powerhouses.
have
Gonzaga
been,
played in a championship game.
as did San Diego State.
San Diego State played a championship game. They
Yeah,
haven't won it.
right.
1997, no team west of Texas.
Wow.
It's a long time ago for that.
Geography portion of the show right here, boys and girls. Thank you.
Since 2001, all but one national title winner has been in the top 21 for both offensive efficiency and top 44 in defensive efficiency, according to KenPom.
Okay.
UConn is the only one since 2014. So if you have Michigan State, Kentucky, or St. John's as your winner, no, you don't.
Cross them off the list.
Cross them off the list. These 3 do not go. All
Okay.
4 number 1s fall into the category.
Okay.
2 number 2 seeds and 3 number 3 seeds, because 2, Kentucky's a 3, St. John's and Michigan State are 2.
Okay.
all 4 number
St.
1.
John's and Michigan State. So Alabama as a 2 and Tennessee as a 2 are good.
Are good. Yep. All 4 number 1s.
And the other 3 threes. Iowa State is good.
Yeah, they're not, but they fall into the category. They're just too injured. This doesn't take into account injuries.
Texas Tech,
Yep.
you said is good.
But they're west of they're dead, right? Because so you
Oh,
cross
because of the geography.
geography,
Okay.
you cross on Texas Tech, so they're dead.
So they're out. And who's the other number 3?
Kentucky's dead.
Kentucky, Iowa State. Wisconsin.
Yep. They're good.
Oh, okay. But are they good for the geography?
Kentucky is, yep. East.
Wisconsin is east of Texas, I
Uh-huh.
believe. Yes, we're
Yep.
good.
Wisconsin's good. So
Okay.
is
Wow. All right.
there. So all right, since 1985, number one seed or number one or number two seed has ever made the Final Four that wasn't ranked preseason. Michigan State and St. John's again fall into that category.
Oh. Oh.
It's pretty neat. No one or two seed has ever made the Final Four since 1985 that wasn't ranked in the preseason.
Wow. Okay.
Michigan State and St. John's. So again, if you like Michigan State, I had them in the Final Four.
Right.
not good for me. I have St. John's falling in, but right now, everything's numbers wise, we're going against Michigan State for making a deep run in this tournament.
So there's so many bets to make on this stuff. I went and looked. St. John's number of wins in the tournament is 2.5.
My favorite bet that I found for that is Florida versus Auburn. Who wins more games? Minus 115 on both sides.
That's a good bet.
Take Florida.
If you think both are going to get to the Final Four, then it just becomes a matter of getting. But if you think one isn't, then obviously that's the bet.
Auburn. I think.
But
Auburn
I can't
loses,
believe that the number for St. John's is 2.5 with the juice overs plus 170.
Well, that's assuming they make the Elite Eight, right?
You have to win 3 games to get to the Elite Eight. They're
So
saying they're not going to get there.
Well, they get to the Elite Eight, not getting to the Final Four.
No, but 3 games, winning 3 games gets you to the Elite Eight.
Right.
This is dogs to get to the Elite Eight.
They are.
St. John's is.
Well, by these stats, it would say yes, that's right. Final Four. I mean, they would be crossed off for making the Final Four. So it's
Omaha. I would think
Yes.
they're beating the Kansas-Arkansas winner.
yes,
And then after that,
that's the game they lose.
it's the game they lose to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Is the highest seed that they would play, Missouri, Drake, or UNCW.
See, what's fun about this is all done in a bubble of a non-NIL world. Like all these stats. Why I love these stats.
Yeah.
Because we've never seen college basketball like it is right now. We've
Yeah.
never seen this level of talent being all congregated at the top, where so many of these star players were once mid-major star players.
Yeah.
And they're now staying. The average age of a college player in this tournament is 20 and a half. It's old. It's old for what it used to be. We used to see 18, 19-year-olds dominate.
Well, in
one and
recent
dones.
history, but back in the day, senior-laden teams were
In the
winning
80s.
tournaments. Yeah,
In the 80s, though.
and 90s.
It's been a while. I mean, we expanded. This is 85.
years,
That's the
yeah.
expansion. 85 was when we expanded to 64 teams.
Okay,
That was the last full expansion of this bracket,
right.
which is from 32 to 64 teams.
Huh.
So it is a really interesting look of like, okay, do we throw all these numbers out? Every champ since 2004 was ranked in the top 12 of week 6 in the AP poll. Auburn, Duke, Florida, Tennessee, Bama, all were ranked in the top 12 for top 2 seeds. So if you're looking for who you like, one of those teams very well might be the champion. All those teams do qualify under the KenPom rankings.
Wow. All
So
right.
your national champion might look like one of those
One
5
of those.
teams,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Hmm.
which is by the way, all SEC except for one.
Right.
Which, in
Makes
case you're
sense.
curious about your SEC versus the field bet, the numbers tend to maybe lean towards.
That's a pretty
Yes.
good group to have against, the rest of the field, let alone, Duke and Houston.
Yeah, Houston's in this conversation. I will still maintain that Houston is 100% live
Right.
in this conversation. And I'm feeling bad is the wrong word, but I do think that there is something to be said about the people just really overlooking what's going on for Houston. Like we're not putting them, even giving them a shot. In case you're curious, someone asked in the chat, the 12 teams that all fit the KenPom criteria: Florida, Auburn, Duke, Houston, Alabama, Tennessee, Texas Tech, Wisconsin, Iowa State, Arizona as a 4 seed, Illinois as a 6 seed, and Gonzaga as an 8 seed.
I just don't get it.
Those are the 12 teams that are ranked top 21 in adjusted offensive efficiency and top 44 in adjusted defensive efficiency. Every champion since 2001 has had that.
I mean, there's prices that existed before the tournament on all of these teams that you could have 12 different tickets and you would guarantee yourself money if one of the 12 won. I mean, Eli came on yesterday and talked about having, what did he say he had Auburn, 30-1 or 35
to 1? Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. So those prices existed, which goes to show that, if you're paying attention during the season, you can build a nice 10 to 15 team portfolio,
right?
If you want to call it, of tickets that will allow you to maneuver and profit no matter what happens. You can actually enjoy the tournament and not have to bet every game or take different shots.
You need the 30-1s though. Like it's difficult. I think if you were going to bet Duke, I would agree with that, Covey. That was just what I was about to say. Because I wonder, did he bet Auburn last year after the tournament at 35-1? Because once Auburn made all those NIL adjustments and they got the Petaway kid, I would love to see the date in which Eli got that ticket. Because Auburn hasn't been anywhere near that since they got Broom back and they got Petaway, who's a 5-star recruit who everyone knew was going to be dynamic for them.
Right.
So that's the problem last year, I learned that lesson last year because I tried to build a portfolio by buying tickets throughout the entire year, but I didn't have enough cushion in there where if you're buying, I bought a Florida ticket at 10-1. Well, if you have 8 tickets for all one unit, you're going to win a unit, you're guaranteeing yourself profit, but only one team can win. So it's not like multiple teams can win this thing. Only one team. So if you have 10 tickets, one's a winner and 9 of them are losers. So how much money are you winning with that one ticket? It's got to be a big enough number that you actually can make up for the losses you're going to suffer with the other tickets.
Yeah. I mean, but if that's the worst case scenario, that's not bad. You know what I'm saying? If your ROI, which a lot of the people in the space like to talk about now, your ROI and how much money you're investing and all that other stuff. You know what else I saw, by the way? I saw my buddies over at Wager Talk have started a segment called "Is This Trend Your Friend?"
No.
Oh yeah. And I was wondering when I was like, wow, that's pretty good.
When does the royalty check cash?
This is that time of year where you start to really see a lot of people copying other people's content and different things like that. Again, this is just your friendly reminder. If you see something here that you hear Matt or I say, or somebody in the chat brings it up,
close to you,
sorry, Will, just fucking give somebody credit for it. Just pretend. That's all. I hadn't sworn in days, and I just was thinking of that, and I thought that was appropriate time to let one out. So
Will, I would say that's blatant.
Is this trend your friend? I'm like, wow, trends are your friends until they're not. I've been saying that maybe for a decade. I'm glad it's out there now. Different things like that. So those were all good. Those were all really interesting stuff. Will that affect your betting? All those things you just brought up.
Yes. It would affect my future bets if I was going to make them, which I kind of am not at the moment. So I'm good. The only future bets, it makes me more confident to take Florida and Houston and roll them over. Like I'm planning on doing. It makes me more confident that I'm going to be able to get out and go, okay, I feel pretty good about the Final Four run for both Houston and Florida.
For the lower price ones, that's definitely something. Now, Sam Licata just came in the chat. You had it up on the screen. I have $100 on Mizzou to win the tournament to collect about $18K. When do I start hedging?
You can't.
I don't think you can yet. I mean, I think you have to get them to the Sweet 16.
Wow, that's early.
Well, I mean, you can bet against them. They're playing Drake.
Yeah.
So, I mean, $100.
I would take Drake plus the points, and then you can, go off of that.
Without a doubt.
So that's what I would do, and just take, and then maybe hit both. The ticket stays alive, and you cash Drake plus the points. If Drake wins outright, you've covered your bet.
So, I mean, that's Thursday. So, you take Drake plus 6.5 or 6 or whatever it is now. And
because
try
Mizzou's
to
not
get
going
the
to
most
be a
points you
dog.
can.
I mean, what game will Mizzou won't be a dog probably until the Sweet 16.
The next game. They're playing Texas Tech. The next game.
Let me see.
Mizzou plays Texas Tech the second game.
Let me see.
And then they would play most likely St. John's.
That game is tomorrow, right?
Thursday.
Missouri.
Tomorrow. Missouri plays Drake 4:35 p.m. Pacific.
Hold on one second. So Drake played Texas Tech. Let's see what the number was when they played Texas Tech this year.
They'll be big dogs.
Wow, they never played them. I hate that. I hate that the Big 12 doesn't have a round robin anymore, so they never played Texas Tech. It'd be the first time SEC. I forgot Missouri's in the SEC.
Sorry, SEC, yeah.
That's why. Sorry, I'm blanking on that. Okay, so they would be. Yeah, they're probably gonna. I don't know how big of a dog they're gonna be though. That's why I'm wondering. I'm like, maybe 3, 2.5.
Bigger.
Wow.
Texas Tech will be 4.
What if they lose?
Minimum.
What if Tech loses?
Texas Tech loses. Texas Tech is playing UNCW. North Carolina, Wilmington. They're 17-point favorites.
Just saying. They're not going to lose. But I'm saying, what if?
Yeah, they're not. Don't worry about it.
The metrics, I mean, look, Eli is a heavily metric guy, right? So he loves the numbers. He likes Texas Tech to the Final Four. I do not. He likes Xavier to the Final Four. I do not. We're going to see what they go and see what they wind up looking like here coming up. But those are two teams that have really flown under the radar, but the numbers have loved Texas Tech and Xavier for most of the year. The problem is that Xavier is 15-2 at home straight up and 6-9 on the road. And he's backing Xavier to go on the road 6 straight games and win 6 straight games to get to the Final Four, or 5 straight games to get to the Final Four. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
That'd be pretty impressive.
But
so good
UNCW.
call, Covey. Kentucky was too when UNCW beat them last year. Listen, they can win one game.
Everyone's on Xavier tonight, LL. Everyone. I'm not. Give me the points. The world's on Xavier. World is on Xavier. And the world was on San Diego State last night. Some people were on Carolina, but most people were on San Diego State last night, including me. And now everyone's on Xavier tonight.
You heard Eli's thing about the bet splits. Every book reported that 80% of the bets were on North Carolina last night.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was the other way around.
No.
I saw most people saying they're on San Diego State. But again, I don't care who's on what. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I like Texas tonight because I can't get Texas right. Joe the Fat Panda, money line. All right. Don't mind it.
Put it in the chat, boys.
Tejas. Oh.
Tejas. There you go. Keep them typing. Who you got tonight to win the game? Just win the game. Xavier or Texas.
Well,
Oxford or Texas.
Oxford. Is that done? Will Wade to NC State?
Wow.
That's done, huh?
Okay.
All right. So UNLV is going to have to go find somebody else. It's a good hire for NC State.
Can't get anybody.
Tejas.
This really is like the uncertainty, and then the story about the football coach didn't do any justice to UNLV getting a coach. Right.
Oh, you mean the money situation? Yeah.
The money situation.
Dan Mullins. Yeah.
Yeah.
If that really is true, I had someone tell me that that's not true, but I don't know if I believe anything right now as to what's going on. They're claiming that the way they move the money around, and like, yes, right now it says they can't afford it, but they actually could afford it if they move things. And, you move a decimal point here and a line item here, and you scratch this and you can, I don't know, there's some accounting thing you can do. So right now, clearly they can't pay it, but they will be able to pay it in 2 years. I don't know. It's above my pay grade on all this accounting crap, but it doesn't look good. Regardless, it doesn't look good.
Right.
Somebody's standing up there saying the athletic department's operating at a $30 million deficit. That's bad. Does Dave know where Oxford is? Do you know
Ohio?
Where in Ohio?
Xavier, I don't know.
Cincinnati.
Is it?
Yeah, Centos Center in Cincinnati. It's a city school. It's a good school. It's a really proud basketball school.
So literally right by the University of Cincinnati?
They're arch rivals. Yeah, they cross. I think they're across the town from each other.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
yeah. Big rivals on the two of them. But They play, what do they call? They
They're
call
3
their
miles apart, Joe the Fat Panda?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
they call their game something. It's like the hometown brawl or something, what they call when Cincy plays.
Oh, okay.
When
Yeah, it's
Cincy
like
plays.
Pitt and Duquesne. Pitt
Yeah.
and Duquesne and Pittsburgh are literally right down the street from each other. It's not like Tobacco Road, where North Carolina and Duke are
Right.
7 miles apart, but it's
Right.
probably pretty close.
But it's a basketball crazy town. I mean, UC and Xavier
Right.
both are basketball nuts and they hate each other, so it's good. Rich kid versus poor kids.
Oh, okay.
Xavier's the rich kid school.
Wow.
Cincinnati, the fake Queen City. Look out.
Oh, boy. What are we
Charlotte
doing,
folks
DBs?
getting mad.
What are we doing, DBs?
Oh,
What are
you're
we
from
doing?
Charlotte, North Carolina people hate the fact that Cincinnati calls themselves the Queen City because that's what Charlotte calls, because they're named after the Queen Charlotte. So it's a big fight between who gets to call themselves the Queen City. That's fun. I like
Oh,
that.
no.
Yeah. Oh, what, you going to Cintas Center in a couple of weeks, Addison?
There you go.
It's a house of horrors for Creighton. They can't win there. They got killed by 22 points 2 weeks ago there. Can't win that building. That's a place to play. That's a hard environment. All right, tonight we've got Mount St. Mary's against American. Americans favored 129.5. This is the only game I'm not betting. I don't know what to do with this game. I would say take them out, but I've got really no direct clue on this.
Under.
129.5 going
Yeah.
under.
It's
Ugly
ridiculous.
game in Dayton.
Yeah. Listen, this one is starting off, and I think everybody got spoiled yesterday with a 16-16 game that turned out to be engaging and entertaining. This one doesn't feel like it's going to be.
I'm with you, Covey. Take
the Mount.
If I was going to bet it, I'd take them out. I'm not going to bet it, but I'd take them out. But I mean, I don't know. If you watched, I watched the whole thing last night. There wasn't good basketball between Alabama State. They both were like so nervous. St. Francis there were 3 air balls to start that game. It was just like it wasn't pretty basketball, but it was tournament basketball, and it was a good game. At least it wasn't pretty, it wasn't well played, but it was a close game, and that's all you want when you go to that. And we thought that the first game being great meant the second game was going to be great, and the second game sucked.
Yeah.
Hopefully we see some level of, I don't know. I'll be excited to see what happens tonight in this game. I'm just going to watch this. I'm not going to bet this game. I'm just going to watch this game. But under, okay. I can get behind the under. Xavier, Texas. Total was 151.5. Total's high.
Eli made a very compelling case for Xavier yesterday. Yeah. I was impressed with Texas in person. They're going to muddy this game up.
Athlete to athlete, Texas is going to have a much more have a big advantage. Athlete to athlete. The question is going to be is whether or not Texas hits the shots they hit in Nashville. Do they hit them in Dayton? Because if they don't, they're going to get killed. They got to hit the same shots.
I don't know. They're steaming this thing up with the total.
Yes.
Again, and my first thought is I'm with Jay Dow is under for the total.
Yeah.
I don't know about the side. I really have no idea. Dave, where is my Robert Morris swag? Robert Palziani train. I wish I had anything Bobby Moe, because it's going to be a very short stint, very short run for Robert Morris in this tournament. I need to ask my buddy Reno, who trained us.
Fremantle is ridiculous. I would agree. He's been in college for a really long time.
Yeah. I'll
give you that. That's going to be, I'm going to be really excited about that. But I mean, in terms of, Xavier, again, Xavier on the road this year has been awful. I mean, they're 6-9 straight up. They're 15-2 at home. Like I said to Eli yesterday, if this game was being played at Cintas Center, they're going to the Final Four. They're an unbelievable team at home. They don't lose at home, but they go on the road and they're a totally different team. They're a totally different basketball team when they're away from home. So, I mean, they beat the Jays in Cincinnati by 22 points, 83-61. They lost 86-77 when they played in Omaha. Complete and total flip-flop. They're just a different team. So I have a hard time going, let's back Xavier in Dayton. I don't care if they're in their home state. They're not in their home gym. So different basketball team, different sightlines, different environment. I don't I think people are putting way too much stock in the idea that Xavier's going to have more fans there, and that's why they're going to win. I mean, Texas didn't have a lot of fans there in Nashville. Didn't seem like they cared too much.
No, we were sitting next to 4 of them up top that day, and then there were 12 of them behind the bench. That was it. Texas felt like a visitor at, an outsider.
Brendan, you're right.
Tournament.
Texas has killed me. I'm 0-2 betting Texas this March. And I said on the juice last night, fade it. Take Xavier.
Right.
People have better reads on Xavier than I have on Texas for sure. I'm just going to back Texas because I can't get it right. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going to back Texas because everyone, the line's moving. It's 3.5. It's just, once it got to 3, I was like, okay, give me Texas. That's fine. I'll take the dog. Took 4 last night with St. Francis. They lost and they, a 2-point win by Xavier, and I'm good.
Right.
So Xavier can win, Texas can cover, and I'm fine with it.
Okay.
That's a win-win for me if that ends up happening, just to get rid of Texas. So I don't have to bet them anymore. A couple NBA conversations. Paul George is done for the year for Philly. He played just 41 games this year. Are the Sixers just an auto fade the rest of the way?
So I read a really interesting story this morning on Front Office Sports about this game. The line's 11.5.
Uh-huh.
Okay. OKC has the Philadelphia pick as long as it's in the top 6. So I don't think SGA is playing tonight. Like, they're playing for the number 1 seed.
And
overall and everything.
And tanking against the Sixers.
It's so interesting the way that when someone else controls the pick, the maneuvering that goes on. The Sixers literally shut everybody down.
Yep.
Everybody. I have no idea.
Yet they beat the Mavericks 130-125.
So
now, their scores, just so you guys understand, here are the scores for the Sixers over the last 10 games. 126-119, 119-102, 126-112, 123-105, 126-122, 132-123, 118-105, 112-100, 130-125, and 144-137.
Yeah.
No defense and just AAU offense right now for the Sixers.
Not even disguising it. Just, let's play no defense and just score and chuck it and see what happens.
Yeah.
I guess there's no ramifications. So, I don't know if they want the 7th pick. Lose more and OKC will load up with another pick. I don't know.
So many picks.
I don't know how you bet the NBA pregame without really knowing anything.
Yeah. It's getting hard. Even the prop markets are getting really crazy.
And don't come at me, Marcus, or Kyle or whatever you're talking about. The NBA it's a tough night
right now.
To talk about the NBA.
Oh yeah.
We'll try. There's a full slate of games, but run it down. Houston, Orlando,
good. Oh,
Dallas,
I disagree.
Indiana.
That's a good game. Houston, Orlando is a good game. That's my favorite game of the night.
It's a compelling game, and at least it's a competitive line.
Oh yeah,
okay?
Competitive line, good.
But
that's good. That's a 7 o'clock.
Go down
tip
the rest:
time.
Dallas, Indiana, Detroit, Miami. Come on, New Orleans, Minnesota. Really, New York and San Antonio. I would be maybe in the past.
Yeah,
Philly and OKC, forget about it. Washington and Utah, literally competing for the number 1 seed. How is somebody favored in this game? I can't believe it.
Number 1 pick.
Chicago, Phoenix. Yeah. What? Cleveland, Sacramento. Cleveland coming off a loss to the Clippers. Okay, now we're talking. Memphis and Portland. Interesting, I think. And then obviously the game of the night is Denver and the Lakers.
Yeah,
but
that's best.
When we mention all the games, there they are. Cleveland's 5 at Sacramento. That's surprising to me.
Too low?
No, too high.
Too high?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a dog play.
So Sacramento's 11, 18, and 13 at home, ATS.
It's a back-to-back. They just lost.
11, 18, and 3. They are bad at home, ATS.
Cleveland got smoked last night.
Cleveland 22-11 ATS on the road, but yes, they
Yeah.
did lose by 13 to the Clippers last night,
A fully healthy Clippers team,
who were starting to come around.
which I think, we'll probably see Vegas Gregan down at this show. Lip might come by too and try to make a case for the
He hasn't
Clippers again.
he hasn't shown his face since the Bills got spanked.
Yeah, he's been traveling a lot. He's been out of town with the golf. So he's been going to the different golf events. But yeah, I don't know. That's a dog play for me.
Sacramento +5. Oh
Yeah.
boy. What do you make of Denver and the Lakers tonight?
Do we got everybody playing?
As of right now.
Because that's the question with Denver. But the question isn't even a question because they didn't play the other night and they won.
Yeah. Strother's out.
4.5 to 11.5 the hour before the game.
Yeah. Strother's out. Game time decision for Jokic, Murray, and Gordon and Braun. Like pretty much the whole starting five is a question for the Nuggets. So we don't know.
So it's almost 1 o'clock Pacific. It's almost 4 o'clock Eastern.
LeBron's out. Okay. So LeBron's yeah. We knew that. He's out another week. But I mean, I meant for Denver. Who's playing for Denver? So
didn't matter the other night. Neither one of them played.
Luka is a game time decision. Rui is a game time decision.
So guess what? The betting will be a game time decision.
Or in-game decision. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I paused. I mean, right now I was on a really hot streak with betting NBA props, and I'm taking a little break to kind of see how this whole thing shakes out, because right now it's really difficult. There's a lot of like that. There is an inflection point going on right now as to what a team is going to do. Are we going for it, or are we going to go and tank? Because there are teams that are sitting there right on the cusp, like the Raptors, who are 24-45. Who are currently 5.5 games out of Miami from the play-in. Like, are they just going to shut it down and be like, we're done? So, like, if that's the case, you got to fade everything. You can't touch their player props.
No,
betting unders.
I don't think so.
On everything with them. Or you take a team like the Suns. The Suns are 32-37. They are 1 game back of Dallas for the 10th seed in the play-in. What does Phoenix do? They got talent. You got Kevin Durant. You got Booker. You got great. Are they going to go forget it? We're going to bank that we're going to go for the draft and not make the play-in? Or are we going to go get after it and try to make the play-in? So there are some teams, and right behind them, the Trailblazers are 30-39. They're 2 games back of Phoenix. So, like, there's a lot of teams right now that it's tough to say what they're going to look like
night
in and night out right now.
Yeah.
Tough to bet on it.
Try making the lines on it. It's hard. Terrible.
Really.
And this would be great because, like, this is such a big week, and everybody comes to town and, is in such a good mood. And the guy that's booking the NBA is it's just terrible. Yeah, it's just terrible.
So
Rough.
after we get through March Madness, the next big sporting event is the Masters.
It is.
What would be your Masters meal? If you won the green jacket and got a chance to set your meal, do you know?
You're the food guy.
Well, here is Scotty Scheffler's.
What is this?
Do you think you would be down? His appetizer is cheeseburger sliders and firecracker shrimp.
Okay, those are good.
He's going with a Texas-style chili for a first course.
Okay.
And then we're going with either wood-fired cowboy ribeye or blackened redfish.
Okay.
Warm chocolate chip skillet cookie for dessert.
Oh.
Are you down with the dessert?
That sounds like we just went to like BJ's or something. Like we could get all that stuff at BJ's. Firecracker shrimp, a pizookie. That's pretty strong, right?
I think it's pretty good. I think that's pretty
not bad.
Good. I think it's a pretty good meal.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I'm pretty impressed with the meal from Scotty. That's a decent. If I was going to that, the Papa Chef's meatball and ravioli bites, I have no idea what that is. But family style macaroni and cheese, jalapeno creamed corn, soy glazed Brussels sprouts, and chipotle lime roasted sweet potatoes.
Wow.
I'm down with the cowboy ribeye. Like, let's go. Like, for me, I would be, it's pretty simple. It's lobster tail and cowboy steak. You know, I'm taking that for sure. I don't know what I would do for.
I mean, is it like a wedding where you got to have like a meat and then a fish or
kind of? Yeah, you have to. Yeah, it is like
you have to
one or
have
the other.
two
Yeah, I would agree.
options, right?
Yeah, you have 2 options. So I would do swordfish if I was going to do a separate. You know, if I'm doing a fish dish, I'm doing. You know, I'm going to offer you swordfish. So we're going. You know, steak and lobster or swordfish on the other side if we're doing that. I would do some type of a salad. So and I love the idea of doing a shrimp. You know, I'm a big shrimp cocktail person. I'm a big oyster person. So I would be doing oysters and shrimp. If you can't have shellfish, I'd have a salad available for you to go ahead and do that. The dessert is good. It's just basic. Like a skillet chocolate chip cookie with vanilla ice cream seems pretty basic.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing wrong with that. It's just I think you should kind of like up the ante a little bit. I would go. I don't know. I just have something more exotic. I mean, I'm a big creme brulee fan, so that's what I would serve.
Okay.
But that's only because dessert and me, because I have a gluten allergy, dessert and me oftentimes go to war with each other.
Right.
So I tend to go. That's why I'm always looking for that type of deal. Yeah. Shrimp cocktail, Caesar salad, crab legs, steak, key lime pie. All right, I'm down. I can do that. Yeah, East Coast. Of course, we're going with Prince Edward Island oysters or Duxbury, Mass oysters. 2 best places for oysters. Anytime on the menu, that's what I'm ordering.
Peanut butter pie?
Whoa, where are you? Who's that? Peanut butter. Yeah, that's a Southern thing. Peanut butter pie. Oreo.
JPC the 4th is in 313.
I know, that's a Southern thing. Peanut butter pie is a Southern.
Peanut butter pie?
Pecan pie. Yeah, pecan pie for sure. We'll go with that.
Put it in the chat, boys. If you got to pick a pie, which pie are you picking? Wow, I don't know about that, Armor. People like salads. You got to have a salad.
Yeah, got to have a little. Got to have a little.
Well, nowadays, I mean, back in the day, I don't know, Reese's buttercup pie. What the hell are you talking about?
Whitrock, where are you from, man? I thought you were from Iowa. Peach cobbler. Huh? We're going Southern? What's next? Pecan pie? Like, what are we doing?
Zach the Hat came with the banana cream.
There's a big time Southern. That's your Southern.
Banana cream pie is good. I think most people would pick apple. Pecan pie for Christian Hastings? Okay.
Yeah, pecan pie. What is that?
Sugar cream pie. What is
that? What is
or Komwinski? What is that?
What is sugar cream pie? That sounds dirty. What is that?
Not everybody likes cheesecake, Mogan.
No.
S'mores cheesecake. I don't know. K-Bro said cheesecake. I don't know.
Roper, how do you say it? Pecan? I say pecan. Pecan pie? I say pecan pie. Oh. It's a big fight in the Southern, in the South. How do you say pecan or pecan?
Garrett Brown, I'll show you a sugar.
See, that's what I mean. It sounds dirty. That's it. That's just sugar cream pie sounds dirty. that doesn't sound right. Got Cherry it. Ice cream for Roger Long. All right.
Interesting. I think we'd have to have soup choices. A big soup.
What? Soup choices? What are we doing?
Soup.
You're going to send us a sugar cream pie? I don't know if I want one, Brendan. I'm not sure. See, again,
is that something you send through the mail?
It sounds dirty. I don't want that.
I don't know about all that, Brendan. I'm not sure.
We can't do that. That's somewhat, that's scary to me on those levels. But I think Scotty's going to
fish would be either salmon or mahi for me.
All right, done. I like it.
I think we'll just go with a New York strip, and you guys can bring your sides, whatever you want.
Love it.
That's
good.
Fine.
Chimichurri or go with a glaze of some sort. I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah. And then sides 100% will have some sort of sweet potatoes, something, whether they're sweet potato fries or
marshmallow or no marshmallow.
I think you need to leave that option for the people, but I think you need to have that available.
Okay.
The marshmallow and the cinnamon and all that topping. Okay. And then something green. I don't know if Brussels sprouts do it. Might be some sort of green bean concoction.
Okay.
Definitely not peas.
We're going real Southern here.
I think you got to have that mix.
That's a Southern thing right there. It is the Masters. So green bean casserole.
So I think that's where we're at with
cream spinach.
I don't know.
Oh man, Brian T. Cannoli cheesecake. Talk about New England there. That's tremendous.
Okay.
Cannoli cheesecake is hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Brussels
Fried
sprouts and me just don't get along.
with
I'm just not a very
bacon
big
and
fan.
butter.
Yeah,
Man.
Brussels sprouts are like, I like tart things, but that's really tart. Collard greens, really? We got in trouble when we talked about that before, Addison. You got to be careful with the Masters and collard greens. Remember that history? If you're old, you remember the Tiger Woods conversation with Fuzzy Zeller.
Now that you said it, I do remember that.
Remember that?
Now that you said it, I didn't remember until you said it.
The big issue with the Masters dinner with Fuzzy and Tiger. It turned into nightly news lead story on the big news, national news that was up there. Big time with that. Lobster bisque is not bad, Jordan Gorov. I'm with you there. That's not a bad soup.
Not bad. Yeah.
That's not bad to jump in with that.
I think I got to go with New England clam chowder if I get to pick one.
Wow. From you. Look at that.
Either that or,
my neck of the woods.
Or like an Italian wedding soup. We'll put all that stuff in there. That's
every time I fly out of Boston, there is illegal seafood in Logan Airport, and I go and have a shrimp cocktail and a clam chowder before I get on a plane. Okay. And everybody always tells me that I'm literally playing Russian roulette with my stomach by doing that. And I'm like, it's where I'm from. It's the food I eat. I'm good. So French onion's pretty damn good, Vince. I'll give it to you. It's a good soup. It's a staple in my house. Okay. Just no bread in it, but I love French onion. It's a great soup to have. I order out a lot more. Oh my God. What's the content on this?
Chicago Chris and Chicago John live a hard life. They do a lot of things together, separately. Drinking.
Daniel G's worried.
Beautiful people.
Everyone tells me that I shouldn't be eating. I can't eat shrimp before I get on a plane. I do it all the time. I've been doing it for years. It's my go away meal whenever I have it before I leave. Before I get on the plane to go to Boston or go.
Roger just came in the chat and said, "I do this thing with vanilla pudding, banana slices."
Yeah, that's called
cracker. It's called banana pudding.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I just had it in Nashville.
Yeah, okay, it's a southern thing. Yeah,
it was amazing.
Yeah, it is because it also has the graham cracker crumbs. Normally, it's Nilla wafers they put on the top of it.
Oh man! Yeah. Well, that's what it was where I got it.
Yeah,
at that
southern in the South they do it with Nilla wafers on the top. They just
was it good?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm down. So Scotty, good job out of you. I think people are going to enjoy the Masters meal from Scotty Scheffler for him set that menu for the second time for him winning the Masters. Mm-hmm. Time for Bet It or Book It. Quick one, only one. Better to book it for me here. I'm taking Texas +3 tonight. Light night for me.
It's just completely flipping a coin for me at this number, but I'll say I was impressed with Texas. I like the game under, so we'll say that this is a bet. But I was going to say you'll know about this one early. I don't think you will. I think this one's going to go back and forth for a while. This one will hopefully be in question, in the game, in doubt, whatever you want to say.
Yeah,
late into the second half.
I would agree with you. Yeah, I mean, I think Texas has the potential to come back, but I think if they get off to a fast start, I think they could make it difficult. But Xavier is very good from behind the 3-point line. They're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country, so they can shoot themselves back into games if they go down. So, I mean, what I'm hoping for personally is to get a number on Xavier somewhere around 4 or 5 at some point in game and middle it and try to come in with both. Because I'm not sold that I'm right about Texas. And I think that Eli made a very compelling case about where Xavier could be and how they match up in future games. So I'm not totally against it. I hope the Big East shows out and plays really well. It would be awesome to see it. Xavier is one of those teams that might be able to make noise. Would you rather be, like somebody asked me this question yesterday, would you rather be playing in a game versus 2 11 seeds by yourself, stand alone on a Wednesday night, or play middle of the day as a 7 seed or a 10 seed or an 8 seed or a 9 seed on Thursday? Which would you rather?
So you're playing the play-in by yourself, or you're actually playing in the tournament? That's what you're asking.
By your logic, yes. Some people's logic would be no. You're playing in a standalone game. The whole country's watching you versus in a time slot where you're up against 4 other games.
I'd much rather play Thursday. Yeah, it's actually in the tournament. Yeah,
but I agree. I'd want the standalone. See, there's something to be said. Everybody this morning is talking about St. Francis. They had no clue where that school was before last night.
It's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, most people don't know that. Most people think there's 2 St. Francis's. One closed down in New Jersey.
Right. There's one. Isn't there for St. Francis in New York, the state of New York? There's a St. Francis, New York, and there's
one of them closed down.
Oh, okay.
One of them is no longer existent. So it's gone.
Wow.
So like, it's pretty wild to see that how different that is with that. So, I agree though. I'm taking Texas +3.
I got to bet it or book it before we get to favorite thing about today. We'll do favorite thing about today in bonus time.
Okay.
Hockey, Colorado at Toronto. Colorado -125.
Colorado.
Flip a coin. Okay. I like Colorado.
Complete coin flip.
Okay.
I complete coin flip on that. I'm not sure who wins that game. I looked at both games. I was like, I can't make up my mind on either one of these games. Guys, tomorrow we are live at Resorts World, Red Tail Lounge, noon Eastern time for the live show on Bostonian versus the Book, at Boston versus the Book on Twitter and X if you're coming in person. Can't wait to see you guys Thursday and Friday. We will be replayed from there on Sports Grid TV and Sirius XM. So if you guys are watching on the replay crew, you'll see us in Vegas, but not here at our home studios. We will be at Resorts World. See you all tomorrow. Bonus time for you guys who are with us live. Okay.
Thank you for the reminder, Sonic. I said we have over 100 people watching. Somebody, please hit the like button on the way out. Leave the door open. 99 watching right now. Show started 99 minutes ago. Hit the thumb. Thank you. Apparently, moves the algorithm. We turned off the ads. We're probably going to have to turn those back on. Yeah, probably once in a while.
Yeah,
they were on for the live show. We got a bunch of views on that, so I don't know if that helps.
Oh, well, that was just that's just because it was being run through Newbie.
Yeah,
not being run the way it normally is run.
Newbie's going to do it tomorrow, and Friday. Yeah, so we'll have all that set up. We'll have all the mics checked. We appreciate you guys when you watch the show. Tell us when you can't hear us and you can, and things freeze and all that other stuff.
CBW just sent this. Major League Baseball is reporting that the first game between the Dodgers and the Cubs was watched by more than 25 million people in the country of Japan. That means more than 25% of the entire country's population was watching.
Yeah. They like those guys.
I guess so.
They like those guys.
If you wonder why MLB went over there, now you understand why they went over there.
There's no, you don't have to wonder anything. They were Cubs home games, by the way.
That sucks.
The Cubs gave up 2 home games at Wrigley Field to go play over there.
Yeah.
So it had to be worth it for a lot
Did they give it up, or were they told this is what's happening?
Well, whatever it was, they took the 2 home games from Chicago. They didn't take them from the Dodgers. So just for anybody that was wondering, how or why the Dodgers would say, okay, we have to give up 2 home games, because the Dodgers have led baseball in attendance forever.
Right.
Because they have
8,000
seat stadium, and they fill it by accident, even when they're not great.
Right.
So when they're good, it's a big ticket every night, 50,000 a night. So that's why. But yeah, Newbie's producing a show tomorrow. My favorite thing about today is that we got to, mention and talk about, which I think is therapy, about, Farah and, his passing and things being gone. And it just reminded me of where the show was, where the show has been, and where the show hopefully is going. So, and again, it's a reminder that get-togethers like we pulled off in Nashville and Franklin, Kentucky, was because of you guys. If Matt and I went and showed up and brought the stuff and did a show, we'd have met the nice people behind the counter in Kentucky, and that would have been it. But you guys made that thing go, and you made us I mean, you made me want to do it again,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
we're going to do this week, tomorrow and Friday at Resorts World. We met some great people at the shows at Resorts World in the past. I don't know who's going to be there. It's fun to kind of be surprised. Say, hey, you're here for the show? This is great. We'll have our setup. We'll have our speaker. We're going to do the shows. Depending on, how long we're going to stay, watch the games. We'll see. But my favorite thing about today is just a reminder that it's more than us. Like there's a we involved in all of this that I really, really appreciate.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. And I think that the live shows are, it's unique. I think we're unique in the space. I think one of the things that we do differently than other shows, some people go on the road once in a while. We're going on the road consistently now. And I think it's one of the more fun things that we get to do, because when you're in home studios, like when I was doing shows out either at the Palms or at the Venetian Palazzo, like I got a chance to see people once in a while. Like I saw human beings. I was doing the show. They could see me. I could talk to them. They could come on the show. We said, hey, come by the studio, sit down, do the show, like all the different things. Sonic, you may have just come up with something. That's pretty good.
Oh, look at that. BWB. That's good.
That's pretty
That's
good.
good. Yeah. That's good. I like it.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, put a pin in that conversation. That's interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
But I think going out and going into the world, if you will, and taking the show out into the world and having a chance to talk to you guys and doing what we did in Kentucky, which was fun to have, that little 30-second sit down with all of you guys to come on in. And then just to kind of like the live in-person roll call, it's really fun. I mean, it humanizes the show. It brings you guys out from just being a name into actually being a person, someone that you can talk to and someone that you can communicate with and someone that you can have a common ground to say like, hey, I'm from here. Hey, I'm from there. And good to talk to you in the chat. And I mean, I don't know when you told me about this a long time ago, when like we first started the show, you're like, do you know that people are like setting up times to go and meet, like aside from the show?
Yeah.
They're an hour apart and they're driving to each other. Just like that was really neat.
Yeah.
To hear that and to see that. And it's happening more and more. And shows like Kentucky, you guys are all exchanging information. You guys are all exchanging contact stuff and saying, hey, when next time I come to, I go to work, I go here, I go there. And the show just becomes sort of a conduit to connect people. I think that that's really a cool thing. And it's a neat opportunity.
One of the things that happened even while we were there is we did the Twitter Spaces on Friday.
Right.
And people heard Sonic's voice for the first time.
Right.
And we're really excited about it.
Yeah.
Sonic's here every single day. Sonic does these overlays for us. Tommy Lorenzo, thank you, sir. I've met some great people at your live events. It's really cool. There's no other way to describe it. As dudes, especially as we get older, it's harder to maintain those relationships. Everybody's trying to, do everything they can for their family. You get pulled in different directions and all this other stuff. And, it's like keeping that golf trip together that used to go when you were in your 20s, or keeping that fantasy football league together that you started in college, and you get into your 30s and you're like, man, I can't make the draft this year. And then it just falls apart.
Yeah.
This is one of those things that I think is kind of just, you guys are making it go and you guys are keeping it together, and we're the conduit voice. I almost want to suggest at some point, maybe we'll do one day, we do 4 days of shows on the video, and one day we'll do a Twitter Spaces or something different where you guys come in and be a part of it, ask questions, hear each other's voices. I don't know. We got to just think of different ways to kind of grow it more and be that, would you say, kerosene on a bush fire?
On a brush fire. Yeah.
Brush fire. I said bush fire. Thinking of something else.
The carpet matched the
Bush
drapes.
on fire.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but that's, there's a lot of things that when you look in the chat and you see people's conversations, you see how I was attracted. This goes back to my time in college, but when I was in college, so I've told the story before. My mom was 18 when she had me. My mom was 18. My dad was 20. My mom's best friend got pregnant. My mom chose to keep the pregnancy. Her best friend had an abortion. So I'm here because my mom chose to have me. So I'm always feeling blessed and lucky that I get to even be alive and be here. But I got a chance when in college, I didn't travel anywhere. I thought the world ended at New York City when I was, first time my dad, he moved to New York when I was in high school. And the first time I got on a plane was when I was 14 years old. And I went to go to New York. And I thought I was like I thought I was going to some like foreign country. And so I went to New York. It was a 45-minute flight. And then in college, all of a sudden I was given this chance through sports to travel. And now I've been to 45 of the 50 states. And I've been to Canada and Mexico. I've never left North America in my entire life. But what I love to do is travel. And this show giving us a chance to go and travel. I want to speak for you, but I'll speak for me. I'll go anywhere. Like if anybody wants us to come to do the show, I'll go anywhere. Like you want to put me on a plane to go do the show and you want to pay us to come do the show, I'll come do the show. Because it's just, I love traveling. I love getting out and going and getting to go to, like, I couldn't have been happier. The SEC tournament, I was like the happiest I've been in. I don't know the last time I had that much fun.
Oh, it was awesome.
Going to back-to-back games, to go and do the live show, to be in Franklin, to be in Kentucky, to be in Nashville, to be there with college basketball fans and Kentucky fans. And I was just like, when I was walking out, and like, I didn't stay for the game against Kentucky, but I'm watching all these Kentucky fans walk in. And I'm like, this is like going to Alabama football again. Like this is these people are literally so excited just to go watch their team play.
Well, I think that's what we lose that here because everything is so about the gambling here.
Right.
And that's what I love going to other places because, I mean, there were ads and stuff, but it was nothing to do with the gambling. They were literally just excited to go to a game. And when you get reminded of that and how cool sports are just in different places, it's fantastic. I mean, I'd never been to Nashville or Kentucky in my life. And I left and have been talking about it since, trying to figure out a way to get back. And I actually went and met a guy who has listened to the show, has flown out and been a part of the contest and all this other stuff. But he's like, likes to be a part of Vegas once or twice a year. I went out to his house in Gallatin, Tennessee, whatever it was.
Gallatin, yeah. Yes.
After we'd finished the spaces, because I had a couple hours to kill.
Right.
I went, met his wife and his kids. And I mean, for me, that was country. I mean, there was one lane on each road. We met at the Love's truck stop.
Okay. Yeah.
Off of the exit. From Franklin.
Yeah.
I drove 4 numbers down. He said, I'm off 108. Meet at the Love's. And I was just going to say hello to him, but he didn't bring his kids. I'm like, where are your kids? I wanted to meet your kids. I'm happy to see you. Where are your kids? He's like, wait a second. You want to meet the kids? I'm like, absolutely. You text me when I'm on TV. You watch BBB, all this other stuff. Yes, I want to meet the kids. He was getting in a car. And we drove to his house. And, I mean, when we drove to his house, we made 2 turns off that. And I was like, dude, where are we going?
Are we?
Like, and then the neighbors, you could see the house.
It turns country real quick off the highway. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we went up and down a hill and this and that. It was just rolling trees and hills and some tons of grass. It was great. But I went and hung out with him for an hour and a half. It was awesome. It was just awesome. So I'm with you. We got to figure out ways to get to a couple different places. And if we can build it around a sporting event so everybody can kind of hang out and go to a baseball game or something, that's great. If we can go to a horse track and just hang out and, you don't even have to bet. You just sit there and BS like we did in the lobby at Spring Hill Suites. It was great.
Yeah. So more to come, but tomorrow we will see you all Thursday and Friday at Resorts World, the Red Tail Lounge. Games start at 9:00 Pacific time. We're on at noon Pacific time, and we'll roll you guys for an hour and a half or 2 hours. We're going to hang. I'm not going anywhere. We're going to hang and watch the game. So if you're coming in tomorrow, we can't wait to see you. If you're coming in Friday, can't wait to see you as well. We'll have a lot of fun stuff to come at you, guests, interviews, and all sorts of fun stuff coming from Red Tail Lounge tomorrow, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern time for a live in-person Bostonian versus the Book. Dave, Matt, talk to you tomorrow in person at Red Tail Lounge.